Researchers at Otago University have found that on average it costs about $3.5 million to produce a new law, and say the figure will help governments decide if legislation is the best way to improve public health. The study's lead researcher from the university's Department of Public Health is Associate Professor Nick Wilson.
If we're going to compare the cost effectiveness of a law change to improve public health versus, say, running a mass media campaign or giving more money to GPs, we need to actually know these costs so that we can put them into our models, so that we'll be able to say, is it more effective to save lives, say, from the impact of tobacco or alcohol? Is passing new laws better, or is running mass media campaigns better?
Because that's a big debate about how to make change in health.
Yes, and these debates are often really not very informed by any information. They're just really often at the ideological level. So we're going to say use this type of information to actually give policymakers some clear estimates for the actual cost, because up till now, no one's really considered the cost of the law as part of that process. And the international evidence is that often laws can be very cost-effective ways to improve public health, but maybe sometimes they're not. It's a matter of shouldn't really be an ideological decision entirely. It should be based on, at least to some extent, on cost-effectiveness grounds.
So do you think that health is an area where this debate is most intense, between legislation that will try to affect how people behave and education, which is a softer, less nanny-ish approach to it, if you want to quote the kind of ideology?
Well, I think in some areas there is that debate, but in other parts of public health, I think there's really no argument. For example, there's road safety laws. You've got to drive on the left side of the road. I mean, everyone would agree that that's a very good law, and you shouldn't leave that up to individual choice. But yes, in the area of things like alcohol control, there is evidence actually that law can be extremely effective there, and everyone would agree that drunk driving probably should be illegal, and there should be a law against that. But other things around changing the binge drinking culture New Zealand has, some of that may be smart mass media campaigns, or some of it could be new laws, and both of them cost a lot. And mass media campaigns can be millions of dollars a year to run. So we need to know their cost effectiveness compared to, say, passing new laws.
How long, though, do you think it'll take before you have some decent comparisons?
Well, I think we've got some studies going for things like introducing the Danish-style saturated fat tax, which may be ready within a year or so. And we've also got studies around comparing laws to reduce salt in processed foods compared to education programs. So some of these results should start coming through within about a year.
That's Nick Wilson from Otago University.